Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 7 of Pero Let Me Tell You. First I rip out the heads and I got them like so.
Wow, you know a lot of the song.
Yeah. I quite like that song.
Of Le Poisson.
Yeah.
By the chef.
Yes.
In the Little Mermaid.
Does he have a name?
I don't know, but I don't think they did that song in the live version.
I think they did. I think it was Lin-Manuel.
Who did Le Poisson?
I think so.
Okay, well, everybody, I mean, welcome to episode 297 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Yes. I will say, I know that when they did it live on stage a couple of years back, I
totally pulled that out of my arse.
It was, you're being British. It was John Stamos who did the, actually it's 298.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 298 of Pero Let Me Tell You. ¿Cómo está todo el mundo?
Everybody's good. They're just hanging out. It's Friday. It's almost, May is almost over. That's it. Yeah, Ahorita.
You know what we haven't sung in a while?
Ahorita's back to school.
You know what we haven't sung in a while?
What?
It's Friday night.
Oh.
And the mood is right. We're going to have some fun. Show you how it's done. TGIF.
Or PERO.
It took me a second to figure it out.
I saw you figuring it
because
out.
I was thinking in English. I'm like, PERO? Is this an acronym of something?
I'm sure.
Primetime episodes. So,
really?
Primetime episodes revolve organically.
Sure.
So how is everybody?
It's probably not the weirdest acronym that exists now.
Here in Miami, in the last few days, it's been like super hot.
Yeah, actually, listeners.
It's been like August hot.
Yeah, listeners, those who are not here in Miami, you're actually listening to us as we speak as two puddles.
Yeah.
We've just melted.
Because,
like Alex Mack.
I mean, yes, of course, it gets hot in Miami in the summer. No. It's always hot. But you know what? Until a couple of weeks ago, I think we had said that we had like really nice weather. It was hot, but not that hot.
Yeah.
But in these last few days, it's been like, but what the hell?
And at like 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not even como tú dices, eso de las 4, you know?
Eso de las 4. I love how it's become a thing with us.
It's become a thing.
Right?
It has.
So listeners, I always bug with him, especially in the last couple of years that we've been doing pop-ups. Yeah. I'm always complaining to him like, no hay nada peor que el sol de las 4. And he'd be like, pero de que tú hablas? I'm like, it's sol a las 4 de la tarde. It's sol a las 4 de la tarde de parten dos. Like,
only?
Yeah. And now it's like, yeah. I mean, when daylight savings time comes, it changes to sol de las 5 de la tarde. But you get the gist.
That's true.
But it's the worst. It's like the worst.
It's awful.
I prefer.
Although right now the whole day is sol de las 4.
I prefer the noon sun like shine on me than sol de la freaking 4 de la tarde.
You just sounded like you were singing like a gospel song. I prefer the noonday sun shine on me.
Shine on me, shine. Wait, where is that from?
That's the theme song to Amen.
No.
Yes.
No, but I'm not getting that from Amen. Shine on me, shine on me, shine. Na, na, shine on. Never mind. Anyway,
it's the theme to Amen. I promise you.
Well, I love the theme to Amen. Amen is one of those shows that's like forgotten.
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
What's his name? Deacon Fry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the great.
Sherman Hemsley.
Yes,
from Jeffersons.
From the Jeffersons.
Yeah. To this day, my sister and I, there's a scene where his daughter Velma was making Thanksgiving dinner or something, and she had to like clean the bird, and they show her, and she's got like one of those like clean like sponge things, and she's cleaning it inside out, and they're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm cleaning my bird."
From Amen.
To this day, we cannot find that clip. So, listeners, if any of you find it, how about it? Send it to me.
Maybe it's a Thanksgiving episode.
I looked at that. I even literally went episode by episode on Tubi or wherever to see if I could find one that says like, it's Thanksgiving at the Fry House. And, no. I could not find it.
Yeah, that's a good show. I love that show.
It was a fun show.
Did you like the Jeffersons?
Of course. I've always liked the Jeffersons. Like not now, not an older appreciation thing. I've always liked the Jeffersons.
The Jeffersons is one of those shows that, like, I wonder if it could get away with today.
I think we could say that about a lot of Norman Lear.
right? Because they make a lot of racial jokes in that show.
Right.
I mean, I love that he would call it what is it,
Willis?
zebra?
Yeah, listen, and Tom and Helen.
Tom and
the
Helen,
zebra.
Lenny Kravitz's mother.
Yes.
La cosa que él le decía.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it was bad. But again, it was the black equivalent of you're all in the family.
And I love that Florence used to call him a jive turkey. You know what I was thinking
Marla
the other day?
Gibbs.
You
God
know what I was
bless her.
thinking of the other day? This is not to cause any crap here, but Marla Gibbs is in her 90s.
Yeah.
I feel that Marla Gibbs should be given the same flowers than the great Betty White got. And I don't think she does.
You know what? Let's start it right here.
So, for those of you who don't know
Let's
Marla
start it.
Gibbs, Marla Gibbs played Florence, the housekeeper in The Jeffersons.
Yep.
But then, because I watched The Jeffersons, but I got more into 227
Yeah, because
than The Jeffersons.
It was more our era.
Well,
right?
I mean, The Jeffersons was on reruns a lot and syndication. I mean, I think it still is. But I just got into 227 more. And
Jack Hay.
Mary.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you got Jack
And,
Hay.
I mean, I loved her in 227, and she's in her 90s. She's still acting.
Yes, she's on Days of Our Lives every
With
now and
Jack
again.
Hay.
Yes, playing her mother.
And I like that you showed me a clip, and the number on the door
Yes.
was apartment 227. I mean, I think that she deserves her flowers. Like, she's great.
She is great. You know what? Marla Gibbs, we salute you.
Yeah, she's great. Mary Jenkins.
Yes, Mary, Lester, and Brenda.
Yeah, I've told you this a million times. Regina King.
Who would have known?
She's done a bunch of things. She's won an Academy Award, but to me, she will always be Brenda Jenkins.
And you know what the beauty of it is? There's a part of her that will always be that. Like when you see her, like she's done interviews like with Jack Hay.
Yeah.
You can tell that she's not
She
one of
really
these,
embraces it.
Yeah, she's not one of these people who's like, well, that was then, and I'm doing this. She's like, they're just. I love when actors do that, where they're like, look, I'm doing something else now, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here now.
You know that she's absolutely
Like Miley
great.
Cyrus is that
she's
too.
Absolutely great. She's one of these people that like she seems so warm and genuine in interviews. Regina
Yeah.
King,
Down to earth.
She, obviously she was out of the public eye for a bit because unfortunately, I mean, very tragically, her son took his life. And she was on Jimmy Kimmel a couple of weeks ago, or like a month ago, or something. And it was just so touching and moving. And I mean, she's one of these people that like. I feel that although she's very critically acclaimed, she has an Oscar, and
She's a director now.
but I feel she's not a household name yet. I don't know if that's by design, because if you notice, she does her work and that's it.
I think it's probably by design.
She does her work, she does her press, and that's it. You don't hear of her in
But I think
gossip magazines or anything like that.
But I think that's why we're saying what we're saying about her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I'm going to work 9 to 5, for X amount of time, and then go and enjoy my life.
Yeah. Speaking of television, I was reading something this week that I thought was interesting because we've talked about it here before, the chaos of streaming services. So I was reading that Comcast is coming out with like a bundle.
Yeah, I read about that too.
Of Netflix. I read it on Netflix,
Disney?
Peacock, Apple TV. And Disney too?
I think it was, or Disney's doing something with Prime and somebody else. God
But the
knows.
point is a bundle.
A bundle, yeah.
And it's like, okay, I feel that this needed to happen because this is out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control. This is more expensive than cable at this point.
It really is, and it's funny because I saw somebody saying like, people are always making the argument like, well, we're back to cable. Well, we're not back to cable. And I'm like, okay, I understand what you mean by we're not back to cable insofar as with this new world, you still have access to everything 24 hours a day when you want to watch it on your time and so on and so forth. But we are heading back to cable insofar as like we're putting everything together so that we can have everything under one umbrella. And in addition to that, people would like to say like, oh, well, I can watch it on Netflix whenever I want. Yeah, that's great. Unlike cable, when they're only going to put it on Saturdays. That's fantastic. You can watch it on Netflix whenever you want, as long as Netflix is carrying it.
Right.
Because if Netflix decides that they're going to stop carrying it, now you've got to subscribe to Peacock. And if Peacock stops, then you got to subscribe to Apple.
You got to jump around.
Right, you got to jump around. You're like House of Pain over here.
Yeah.
You
Jump
know?
up and get down.
Yeah, and nobody's getting down with these prices.
No.
So it really is. It's becoming cable part 2. The cable, the evolution, if you want to call it. But it's where you know what is it? If you live long enough, you'll see everything
But
come
it's
back
just,
around.
it's out of control. I mean, we've complained about this here. Porque another thing is that these subscription services keep creeping up in price.
Oh, yes, they
And
do.
yes, I understand they're doing original content now and programming, and I get it. It has to pay.
Whatever, fine.
Do you remember when Netflix was like $3.99 a month?
I
Or
do.
$4?
I do.
And now, but don't they buy like 20 or something?
Well, I don't know because I use my sister's, but
We have like community ones.
Yes.
Like I pay for one, then everybody else uses.
Yes.
You pay for one, and then everybody
Yeah.
else uses it.
I use somebody else's Peacock.
We all take turns in paying for one, but then we share it among ourselves.
Right. It's called communal living.
Yes. I mean,
Yes,
it works.
it
But I
works.
think that's what everybody does porque es ridículo. I mean, you're going to be spending like over $100 on freaking streaming services.
And so many times you watch like one thing, right? Because, all the original programming, that's fantastic. But I'm not watching everything Hulu puts out.
No.
I might watch maybe 2 series. You know what I mean? So I'm paying, $20 over here or $15 over here or $50. Like, come on, guys. Like, calm down. And you're right. It is more expensive than cable at the end of the day.
I can't remember what's the last thing. I think the last original programming I saw on Hulu was, it was years ago. It was a Gypsy Rose
Oh, The Act.
with Patricia Arquette.
Arquette, yeah.
Yeah. That was good.
That was very good.
That was really good. And then, whatever. Son unos descarados.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
When I was a kid, I mean, I imagine it was similar with you. We didn't really have cable because we were poor. We didn't.
It just reminded me of the Golden Girls.
So I had to go to like my cousin's house to watch cable. But there were a few times that we did have cable because it was like one of those specials.
Oh, the free
like,
weekends.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
or like pay like I don't know $10 for 6 months or some shit like that, and then my parents got rid of it. And all I wanted to watch was Nickelodeon to watch Double Dare.
Oh, really? For me, it was you can't do that on television.
Oh no, more than Double Dare?
Yeah, I appreciated the the sketch comedy from Canada.
But still more than Double Dare?
Yeah, because I just feel like you catch that on television was also on before Double Dare. Like Double Dare came in once Nickelodeon started to grow and have original programming. Because remember when Nickelodeon first started, it was a lot of acquired programming from just everywhere, like between Canada and the UK. Because I saw they used to run like Danger Mouse and Duckula, Count Duckula, and those were BBC productions.
No, I used to. It was for Double Dare.
was for Double
And then when I was a couple of years older, MTV, obviamente.
Oh, well,
But Double Dare, yeah. I mean, I told you my dream was to be on Double Dare, but my parents on Family Double Dare, but my parents didn't speak English.
I think we could still make that happen. I'm sure those sets are in storage somewhere, and if we find the right person, look, all we have to do.
I could just imagine explaining to my mom the physical challenge.
Look,
Mamá, tienes que sacar la bandera roja de la nariz. Tienes que meter tienes que meter el brazo en la nariz.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Paramount Plus, listen up, all right? Because this is gonna be a streaming thing, right? Now we all know that Hispanic demographic is very big right now, right? So everybody wants those dollars. So we also know that historically speaking, Spanish television is always behind U.S. television by a good 15 to 20 years, right? Whether it's in like the standards and morals or the programming or
What
whatever.
would it be? Doble apuesta. Apuesta doble.
Apuesta doble, maybe. Okay, so let's go with that, right? All right. All we need to do is literally dig these things out of storage. I know these sets must exist to some degree, right?
Tenemos aquí a Marcos Veranos.
No, we bring it back. We have Jenny Lorenzo host.
Oh, Jenny would be great.
Right? We have her host, and then we can just have
Jenny, make this happen.
Listen, we'll talk. We'll talk, and then we can have the families, and then we can give away. But the thing is, so sponsors wise, right? Like how it was like, oh, the Sunday, right? Or no, it would be like un pastelito de guayaba. You have to go through, or like it would be a giant, instead of like the pizza thing, it'd be like a giant taco, or like una arepa. So we would have
dive in the arroz con pollo.
Exactly. See, so you got to make it like relatable, right? This could work. We're gonna figure this out. We're going to figure this out. Because Paramount Plus does not have a Hispanic vertical right now. No, they don't. But as Warner
For
Discovery
some reason,
and
when
Peacock
I'm thinking about this, the obstacle course, I'm thinking of my dad wearing a helmet, going through the crank with the chocolate slide.
Oh, see, instead of chocolate, it's mole.
I could see, you know what though? I could see my mom getting really into it.
Oh, your mom would be. Your mom at first will be like, pero yo no entiendo. And then, like, I could see her just being like, pero Darien, ¿cómo que la bandera es roja? Pero yo no lo veo. ¿Dónde está? And I can see you on the sideline just being like, mamá, dale, métete, tírate de cabeza. She's like, I'm okay. Like, you know, I can just see her like, you know, just going for it.
And then I'll be like, my dream came true.
At a certain point, she would just be like, you know what? Done. I'm just going to abandon all hope and go for it. Like, I could see this happening.
Marcos Veranos.
Marco Verano.
But you know what? Jenny Lorenzo would be so great on that
perfect. She'd be perfect. And you know what? You could even do little breakaway segments of her and her characters, right? Where it's like, okay, pero ¿cuál es el premio para si ganas esto, te ganas este premio? Abuela, ¿cuál es el premio?
No.
And then she could do those pre-recorded segments.
A takeaway shot could be of her as abuela cleaning the slime.
Right.
Mira que todo aquí está sucio.
Right. Things like that. You know?
That'd be great.
It would be.
I got excited now.
See?
Where can I audition for this?
Well, you're going to be part of the pilot.
No, it'd be great, though, if it's like my parents and my brother and me, just like the four of us.
But at this age?
Yes.
Okay.
And my brother would be like, why are we here? I don't want any of these prizes. Who watches Double Dare?
The beauty of it is that I think the dynamic now would be the same as if it was back then. Because I could still see your brother back then just being like too cool for school, right? Just being like, fine.
No, but no. Who watches Double Dare? Like, who cares for this show? Like, why am I here? So what if you win a vacation to the Bahamas?
I can just go to the Bahamas. Actually, I've been to the Bahamas. I don't like the Bahamas. Like, why am I here?
Well, I don't like the Bahamas. Why are you giving me a trip to the Bahamas?
Right.
The Bahamas suck. We love the Bahamas, by the way.
Yes, we're being funny. We're being exaggerative. Yeah. But yeah, let's make this happen. You know what? We'll figure this out. I guarantee you. There's got to be somebody who's listening who will just be like, I know someone who knows someone, like the Latino, network of
and
it
next
all.
month we'll be sitting in a boardroom pitching the idea.
You know, I know how to put together a deck.
Doble apuesto.
I feel like we got to work on the name because I don't know, like, because like Dare's not apuesto, is it? It's because isn't that like a bet?
Yeah.
Una apuesta is a bet, not a dare. So that's why I'm like, we're getting there. We're there. We're workshopping the name right now. You know, we're talking to a lot of people. You know, right. Jenny, we could have had anybody. You know, we could have had Paula Abdul, LaToya, Janet Jackson,
Nomi
Malone. But
although Nomi,
I think I'd pay more money to see Nomi Malone host a Spanish version of Double Dare than Jenny Lorenzo.
We have a hamburger eating contest. Yeah.
It would have to be a hamburger throwing contest.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on from that.
From Nomi Malone host Double Dare.
Speaking of hamburgers, oíste that McDonald's said that next month they're going to come out with a $5 value meal.
You were telling me this. Okay, so at this point, a $5 value meal is like 3 fries, half a nugget, and a thimble of soda?
Probably.
Okay. So it's for the calorie conscious.
Well, they actually, the McDonald's earnings were down.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure people got to
So what happened was, actually, no, let me take that back. Their earnings actually were the same, but their foot traffic was less. Meaning, yes, they made more. They made their money. How much they made was in line with the other quarter, but it's because everything's more expensive, not because there was an increase in foot traffic. So there actually was a decrease in foot traffic.
So then there was not an increase in sales. And actually, you could make the argument that it decreased.
Yeah. It's a problem. It's just.
Did they say what the $5 combo is going to be?
They haven't said.
They haven't said.
It's a problem because it's just. They have to understand and listen. I know that the economy right now, it's a very different economy, and I get that. And again, we've said this before. We don't expect prices to be what they were 20 years ago.
Hell no.
We're not gonna go to McDonald's and get a value meal for
$3.
$3.49 like it used to be. In the early 2000s.
Right. We can't eat for 75 people with $5 at Taco Bell anymore.
It's not. We get that. But the thing with McDonald's, the inflation with McDonald's, I think it's like comparable to the inflation of Disney World. No, seriously.
I laugh because it's
seriously. It's just, yes, things go up, but this was like the increase from one year to the next. It's substantial.
Yeah.
So then when that happens for many years, this is how you end up ordering just a regular. And I tell you, I take Tristan to McDonald's every Friday. That's his thing.
That's his treat.
His treat. And a a quarter pounder value meal, he doesn't get a soda, he gets a strawberry smoothie, is like $14.
Yeah.
And it's like, coño, that is a lot of money.
For a burger and a smoothie.
The other day, a couple of weeks ago, my parents were here. They're like, hi, we want to go to... My parents love McDonald's, by the way. You know that, right?
Okay, what happens to them all after a certain age?
That they like McDonald's?
Don't you remember that my grandparents at a certain age just all of a sudden became like Wednesdays and Sundays they were at McDonald's?
Like, you know what? Now that I think about it, when I go to McDonald's, there's a lot of older people at McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Like
at a certain
70
age.
plus.
Yeah, at a certain age, they just the switch flips.
They like McDonald's. And my mom's like, in Burger King, my mom's like, a mí me encanta el Whopper. El Whopper es tan rico. Ay, qué rico. But anyway, a couple of weeks ago, they were here and they're like, hey, vamos a McDonald's. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So the three of us went to McDonald's and we spent like almost $50.
I believe it.
And I was like, what? And, we splurged on Sundays.
Oh, no. Which I think they're getting smaller.
Do you remember when the cone was 49 cents?
I do.
And it wasn't that long ago. No. It was like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
It was 49
like 20-something years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was 49 cents. It's ridiculous. Like, it's out of hand. It's out of hand. And, they say things like, oh, because we want to bring now, like, the double Big Mac. And no.
I don't need that.
I don't need more meat. I just want
I want more value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hence, value meal.
Yeah. It's in the name.
McDonald's, bring back the snack wrap.
Oh, I did love a snack wrap.
You know my whole thing with the snack wrap, right?
That you have to buy multiples?
Okay, so sometimes I'll go to McDonald's and I'm really hungry.
Okay.
And I'll have whatever. My go-to at McDonald's is 2 double cheeseburgers. Okay. I don't order fries. I don't order I've explained this in the almost 300
times.
episodes.
Yes.
My go-to is a double cheeseburger, but my way.
Yes.
With the onions of the quarter pounder.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky it's even got the bun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah. So I've told you my favorite thing is when they try to sell me a daily double and it's like, it's cheaper. I'm like, I know, but I don't want a daily double because I want to pay extra for the second slice of cheese. Like,
all right, but in their defense, they're trying to save you money.
They are.
We are just complaining about.
They are. So, but sometimes I'm really hungry. I was really hungry because I don't get fries. So I just get 2 double cheeseburgers and a soda. And I'm like, I'm really hungry. I want something more, but I'm not going to get a third burger.
Right.
Right.
That does feel excessive.
Right. I'm not going to get a third burger. I'm not going to get, nuggets. It's too much. A snack wrap, grilled. It probably has the same amount of calories, but psychologically,
there you go.
It's a light little snack.
Right.
I'm like, the snack wrap. So the snack wrap would
tide you over.
Yeah. I feel a lot of people had the snack wrap.
Oh, yeah, the snack wrap, ayuda.
Yeah. And McDonald's doesn't have a salad at this moment.
I totally didn't realize that until a couple months ago when you told me.
They haven't salad for a while.
Yeah. I mean, again, I was not ordering a salad at McDonald's to begin with.
Would it be hilarious to go to McDonald's and be like, hi, I would like the Arch Deluxe.
The McBLT, thanks.
Yeah. Order like defunct, I would like the cherry pie. Strawberry ice cream.
They had a sandwich once, right?
A sandwich?
Like a
sandwich.
Like un sandwich. Yeah.
No.
I don't know why I thought that.
No,
they did because they tried it was a pilot program down here that they were doing Cuban sandwiches.
Well, I knew that. But
no, that's right. Sorry.
I was thinking like McDonald's.
Oh, no, but right.
When I was a kid, I used to say the filet fish.
The filet fish?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
We were Cuban.
No, but like if that's not a word that most people are going to say,
That's like the first time I went to Checkers, I remember I was in 7th grade. I go, hi, I'll have a cajon burger.
Oh, yeah, you told that story. The cajon.
The cajon burger. Somehow the girl knew what I was talking about.
She probably called it the cajon burger, too.
Cajon burger.
She probably had to be told on her first day. She's like, so what do I do if they order the cajon burger? And they're like...
You decide what's even more expensive is Chick-fil-A.
Well, I mean, homophobia is expensive.
Chick-fil-A has Bing Bang Pollo prices. But not Bing Bang Pollo quality.
There you go. And we are more accepting.
Right. Damn gay we are.
That's right. Exactly. Damn it. As Pride Month is around the corner.
Anyway, so yes, McDonald's is expensive. People go buy the value meals next month or whenever they come out.
Yeah.
Because, we have to show these people that, okay,
that's true. You know what? If what is it? You vote with your wallet, right? So if you show that that's what you want, they'll keep it.
Do you know what I would miss the most if McDonald's were to close? Not that would ever happen.
Food, or are we talking like just what you would miss
general?
As a general?
I think there's only one answer.
Grimace.
Of course.
Okay. Notice why I had to ask to clarify if you were talking about food or if you were talking about like general everything. That's why. That's why.
When it was Grimace's birthday a couple of months, like whenever, and it got all that
so
attention,
wonderful.
I'm like, we're not alone.
No, it's nice to know. It's nice to know that there's a Grimace gang out there.
I mean, Grimace should have a theme park at this.
Ooh.
Grimace's Landing.
Grimace's Landing.
Grimace Landing.
Grimace Landing. Grimace Landing. Oh, everything's purple. And it has the only other two Grimaci that we know about, which are his two aunts.
I had never thought about Grimace's origin story, but
Oh, me neither, until it was his birthday and they just brought it up.
The shake was not very good.
It didn't look like it would be. No. Nothing that color of purple. That's just not natural.
Okay, let's move right along.
At all. That's just not natural at all. So I wanted to bring something up that happened a couple days ago, a couple of weeks ago, probably at this point. So Netflix has just been, snatching up programming that normally we used to be on either network TV or cable. I think I just read that they're actually going to be showing the NFL game on Christmas Day this year. So, they're just snatching everything up. But what they did have is, you remember the Comedy Central used to have the roasts. Mm-hmm. And Netflix did one last year. I forget who it was for, but they did one last year. They did one again this year. And this year they did it for Tom Brady.
Yep, I saw it.
And I didn't see the actual roast, but I have seen the coverage of it. And I have to say, does Tom Brady not know what a roast is? Like, did he think he was going to go and be given like a pot roast? Because everything I've seen, and Giselle included, afterwards just seemed to be this like, what they talked about and how they, they went after my this, and they talked about the coach and she,
they didn't go after the kids. They did go after the kids.
Well, they did and they didn't. I mean, they didn't.
Well, some of them didn't.
Right.
But some did.
But what I'm saying is, when you sign up for a roast, you have to know, especially if you're somebody who's been in the public eye as much as they have been, for as long as they have been, because it's not even that she's a private citizen, so to speak, right? She's a model. I can't think of a person more scrutinized in their life than a model from their beginning of their careers, where they're told you're too fat, you're too tall, you're too thin, you're too short. You got to have a certain thick skin, right? And let's remove the children element of it, because okay, fine, you want to be upset about that, I'll grant you that, because they didn't choose to be in the public eye. But it just seemed to me like why would you sign up for that if you're not ready for it? If you can't take the heat, don't stay out of the kitchen. I will say that is why we will never see a roast of you, because you have zero desire. You won't sit for a caricature.
I won't.
You won't sit for a caricature drawing.
I realize that's an insecurity of mine, but when I see people at the fair sitting doing
I have
that
two of them.
I'll be like, hell no. I was like, hell no, I'm doing that. No,
right.
Oh my God, a roast, just kill me already. Right. Just get me out of my misery.
Right.
It's
funny because you were the first person I thought of. I was like, right. If you do not think you're going to be comfortable with this, then do not do it.
Yeah.
Because it is fair game.
I have to say, I've watched a lot of those roasts.
Yeah, same.
And I have mixed feelings about them, because on the one hand, I love comedy. I think we both have a sense of humor. I think sense of humor is one of the most important for me. One of the most important traits and things that I look at in other people in terms of relationships, whatever type of relationship it is people that have a sense of humor. The people that I'm the closest to are people that have a sense of humor, in different ways, different ways. So it's something that on paper, I'm totally like, yeah, what's funnier than a roast? But I have to tell you that a lot of roasts make me feel very uncomfortable. The roast of the other person, I feel embarrassed.
Right, it's not even about you.
And I think sometimes they go a little too far, because I think that for many years, roasts were sort of, how can I put this? They made fun of the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. But I think that in the last 10, 15 years, or I guess in the digital age, it's also about things that go viral. And I think a lot of people go out there and be like, I'm going to be as nasty as I can be to see if this goes viral.
So
to get a headline the next day. And I think that there's just people who take it too far. And I also believe that there is very much a line that it's too far. And I know humor is subjective, but I think there's a balance between roasting a person and being provocative and saying some,
something
cheeky and all that, within just being straight out mean and cruel. And I think a lot of people are very mean and cruel in the name of comedy.
I don't disagree with you that happens, but again, I just think in this context, this is not the first roast in history. So if you are signing up for
no, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what could happen.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
You have to know what could happen. He has
said that he regretted doing it because of the content of the children, and I think that's fair.
And that's fair.
I haven't heard him say, maybe he has, that he was offended by some of the jokes. Did you ever see the Bob Saget roast?
It was great.
Oh my God.
It was great. But I think that was one where, again, because it's comedians roasting another comedian, and it's a comedian who, outside of Danny Tanner, worked very blue. It made sense that they were just going to go for broke. Right? Because again, it's that fraternity of comedians, and it was people who knew him personally. And so they were attacking him, but you know that there was love there. And I think that maybe in this instance, for some people, that's what might have been missing, because this is he's an athlete. He's not a comedian. And maybe you're not getting the vibe from the people roasting him that there's a real relationship there,
Yeah. I watch roasts. I don't watch all of them, but when I do watch them, I watch them like with one eye, like squinting with, like if I'm watching a horror movie,
right?
Like, oh no.
Don't go in there.
Do you think that you could do a roast?
I like to think I could, because I don't take things seriously, and I know, and I take it within the context of what's happening. I like to think I would. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I like to think I would be able to handle it, because I'll use Seth as the example. Sometimes Seth will say things, and I know he's trying to he's
talking about Burger Beast.
Yeah, Burger Beast. Sorry. I know he's trying to do a Seth zinger to see if he can get your goat. And I just roll with it.
I fail miserably at that with Seth. I
fall every time.
Every single time. Because he's one of those people that he has my number. And he's always ringing it. And every single time I'm around Seth Burger Beast, every single time I fall right in his trap. And then I'm like, I'm such a fucking motherfucker, loser, piece of shit. I fell right into that trap. And he gets me every time, and he enjoys it.
So that's why I think I could do it. But then again, I don't know if other people who are professional comedians, right, who this is their job, would I be as oh, ha, 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 ha. Again, I like to think I would, but I don't know.
I couldn't do it. I could certainly not put myself in the position to be roasted. So, pero let me tell you, let me just tell you this, listener, for our 400th episode, it will not be a roast.
It will not be a roast.
I don't care if it's our 1,000th episode. We will not be doing a roast, pero let me tell you.
You know what, though? I will say, if we were to do a roast, let me finish. If we were to do a roast, off the top of my head, I know, even we have a lot of friends now who are comedians, right? As the role of the show. I think that they would they would come in and do something that's in the spirit of a roast without crossing a line. I do think that the people we would invite,
I have no doubt in that.
I'm not saying we're doing it, but I'm giving our guests
I still
the
would not
benefit of the
subject
doubt.
myself to that. Oh my God, no.
Oh,
I wouldn't roast you either, because I make fun of you all the time.
You do,
but I do it in sarcasm, and I wouldn't be able to do it. I know.
Whereas, my favorite picture to post of myself is one of the ones on Instagram. I post it all the time, the one where I look deformed.
Yeah, no.
I love that picture. That's actually, you know what? I may just repost it.
I give people credit that are able to do that, but I'm not that person.
I think I should just post it on Pero Let Me Tell You as part of this episode.
I'm not that person. I can't.
It's all good. I know who I am. I know what I look like. Okay.
I mean, I know who I am and what I look like too. I'll have a mirror, but
I'm speaking for myself.
I mean, listen, if I were to be subject to a roast, every single person is going to make fun of my big head. Everybody's going to make fun at the fact that I'm a know-it-all. Everybody's
those aren't the ones that are gonna hit you.
Everybody, I know.
They're not. They're not because those are the ones you expect.
Okay, so you know what would totally hit me? Okay, I felt this. So there's this guy online that I follow, Bilal Dawson.
Okay.
He's a content creator. He's sort of funny. He does a lot of content about barbers, like barber humor.
Okay.
Like, when you go get your hair cut and your barber's out of town, and then the other barber cuts your hair, and he's like, bro, so when are you coming next month? And you're like,
this is like a one-time deal. Okay,
yeah. Like, he makes a lot of barber. But he the other day, and he does different characters. The other day, it was about that. They were roasting him, and they're like, you can't last in bed. He's like, bro, 30 seconds? Like, that's a lot. Then another one was like, they were making fun of the size of his penis. And another one that he's like, he doesn't have a job. But then somebody criticized his hairline. He's like, bro, you don't have a hairline. And he's like, what? And then that mysterious music comes on.
Right.
And he's like, are you talking about my hairline? And then he starts making fun of the other guy. And then you see the guy was disabled. And he had like a laptop with him. And he was in a wheelchair. And he's like, oh, yo, Stephen Hawkins, you couldn't compute. This wasn't going to go well for you. And it just went down from there. And you know what? I have to tell you that would have been me. If somebody would have made fun of my hair, you can make fun of everything. You make fun of my hairline? Oh, no. Like, or you make fun of my hair or something really like...
Something really, quote unquote, stupid.
Stupid it's mine. That's very mine. I'll be like, oh, no.
Right.
Or like, you tell me, that I talk shit and like, I don't know what I'm talking about. And like, oh, bro, Darian, always taking stuff out of his ass. And, he doesn't know, this from this. And I'll be like, oh, hell no. I was like,
that's what I mean. Like,
I was like, I will pull up my college transcript.
You'll be
right
now. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why he would be fantastic at a roast, because he falls like you said. I go to a roast
and it will turn into like a total litigation like moment. I'll be like, excuse me,
receipts, baby, receipts.
I was like, I fucking aced constitutional law. Like, what do you tell me that I don't know about the Constitution?
Like, Darian, why did you show up to your roast with your transcripts from high school, college, and law school?
Una piñacera.
All of them. Why?
Like, they're laughing at my head.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, oh, he has a big head. Whatever, fine. Oh, you're always wearing sandals. Whatever.
What do you think would get you?
What would get me?
Everything will get me.
I don't know. I think you know what. For me, it comes down to, and this is like just in general, right? It comes down to context and confianza.
Context and confianza.
Yes, that's our new podcast.
I don't know. I think we're going to be giving a lot of financial advice.
It's all about stocks and bonds. Because I feel like if you say something that's like a horror, like something just awful, right? That's okay because it's you, right? And like at this point, it's like, yes, there's that bond. But if it's somebody who's like just a quote unquote like invitado, I would be like, no, I know I agreed to this, but no, you have to know your level of confianza, and you can tell when somebody's doing it to be funny or somebody's doing it to be mean.
You're not making fun of my Speedos.
Well, I mean, whatever. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would get me? Because it's for the love of God. I feel like I have no shame. Like,
I'm sure there's something that would bother
I'm sure
me.
there is something about it, but off the top of my head, I don't feel like I have something.
I think
specific.
Probably the only thing I could think of, I think if somebody made fun of you, sort of alluding to the fact that you're like a bimbo or you're vapid or you're like empty, like that type of stuff. Like if that was your actual character traits, I think maybe that would bother you.
I mean, maybe, but I also, I feel like whenever I'm playing up that angle, as it were, I always feel like I'm in on the joke because I'm playing it from like the Suzanne Summers, Dolly Parton, type of thing where it's like, oh, you're so dumb. Yeah, all the way to the bank, right?
Yeah, well, no, that's not okay. It's just better tone. Like, that's like I've always told you. I'm like, whoever, I mean, they're not going to do it at this point. Whoever gets me a stripper, you're
challenge accepted.
It's not going to end well for you.
I
can't deal. No, you know well better than that. I can't deal with that amount of attention and like spotlight on me at that moment. I find it like, oh my God, like what? Like I can't deal with it. Like I just can't. Like no. No. And I also think that a lot of people with strippers, because I've been in that situation, a lot of people get it for themselves, not for that person.
Oh, they get it to see the person's reaction.
To get the person's reaction or to get them in trouble, or so they could hit on the stripper, right?
I mean, listen, sometimes we get a gift.
I've been in a lot of situations where they have gotten strippers, and the guy clearly did not want a stripper, and like even had said he didn't want a stripper, and they got it anyway. And actually that to me is a line.
That's the line.
No, that's a line. I think there's certain things that you need to respect, and if somebody tells you something like that serious, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. Right. Please don't do this. And you do it. Those are things that it's like, no.
Again, context and confianza.
Yeah, context and confianza. But I mean.
But that's what I mean. It's if you have that confianza with somebody where you know them, you know better. Right. And so would it. Okay. Like, again, I'll use it. It's a bad example, but just go with me. I know better than to do that to you. But if I did do it to you, I would know that it would have to be, for instance, literally in your living room with like 4 friends, and that's it. Like it can't be in like this giant, scenario. Like, you know what I mean? If I really want to be a pain in the ass, it's got to be within the most like
Mira, you do that to me.
Confines of confines.
In the scenario, a giant scenario, and that scene is going to turn into the scene in Carrie really quick.
And that's how we activated Darian's telekinesis, ladies and gentlemen.
That shit is going down.
That's how mutants came into the real world.
I can't. I can't. I get really like anxiety. There's certain things that give me a lot of anxiety. Public speaking is not one of them.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So maybe if you were giving a speech while the stripper was
do you know that
gyrating on you?
Switching topics, that I think that's something that most people struggle with, public speaking, and I'm like, I don't. There's 10,000 people. Like, why isn't there 20? Like,
yeah, I don't. I've always heard that. I think I've told you, in my time in advertising. Every time there's like, okay, it's a client meeting, we're all gonna practice the presentation. There are people who show up and it's like they've scripted what they're going to say and how they have to say it, and I'm like, I've got 3 notes here of just to make sure that I get the data right. You know what I mean? So I say 12% instead of 13, that type of bullshit. But it's like, no, I'm not going to do a script. I'm not going to stand up there and be like, pause for laughter, look up, smile, and turn. Like, no. Yeah. I know how to speak. And if you know what you're talking about, you prepare, but you shouldn't have to be scripted. Like that. Right. That's my opinion.
I remember I had a friend of mine, and I realized that we are not in the majority here.
No, yeah,
I think that most people struggle with public speaking.
That's the biggest fear in America. Public speaking. Yeah.
I remember a very close friend of mine when he was in college. He had a public speaking course or something because he was like a, I don't know, PR major or whatever it was.
When you do PR marketing, you have to take one.
He had a public speaking class, and like the day that he had to present something, which was part of his curriculum, like he called me like minutes before. He's like, just please talk to me because I'm gonna throw up. He's like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, how many people are there in your class? He's like 30. I'm like, oh my god. And I was trying to be like
supportive and
right. Be like, just breathe. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with
it's people? 30 people. Like, just come on.
I could be in front of 30,000 people,
and I'll be like, fine,
okay, sure. What do you guys want?
Yeah. Is anybody outside?
Like, I don't even get like. Not even a hair nervous.
No.
In public speaking. Like, nothing.
I think I'm more nervous than I'm not nervous.
Yeah. That's sort of like how I felt when I went skydiving. I remember being up there and being like, am I supposed to be nervous?
Why am I not scared?
In fact, I was like, can we fucking jump already? Like,
just somebody push me.
And I remember our friend that we went skydiving with, se estaba cagando. He was like, and he went first, and he looked at me, and he like extended his hand, like. And I never see you again. I remember in that line, you were there. Yeah. I remember in that line when we were up in the plane, it was like 6 of us. I was the last one. I'm like, why am I the last one? Like,
was it by height?
I don't know, because like I remember when I went skydiving, like. The people that go and do the whole camera thing jumped first. And there was a couple of people who were doing...
Solo?
No, we're doing cosas allá arriba, vueltas de carnera, and all that stuff, for show. And then they started with, like, the regular tandem skydiving. Right. And I was, like, the last one. I'm like, oh, why am I the last one? Like, I can't wait to, like, go off on this. And I remember thinking, like, I should be concerned.
Right. This
But
says
I'm
a
not.
lot. This says a lot.
At all. It's like, not in public speaking.
Yeah, maybe you should have you should have given a speech as
Yeah,
you jumped.
like, okay, so you know what's up there with, like, the anxiousness of a stripper? Gay, like, to be in, like, a show or something, and, you know, the people of the show come take you up to dance. Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no! And, like, absolutely
You
not.
want to hear something funny?
Absolutely. You know what I'm talking about? Like, sometimes in shows or something.
Right.
that
They pull people from the audience and whatever.
no, I will be that person. Don't touch me.
You want to hear something funny? That actually makes me a little apprehensive as well.
Really?
Yeah.
You?
Because I don't mind getting up in front of people and being a fool and making an ass of myself as long as it's under my like my conditions, right? Like I'm the one who made the decision. I'm controlling this. I know what I'm about to do. I'm going to look like a total asshole and a total fool, but it's under my, my control. So I get a little like, oh, fuck. Like, I go ahead and I do it. I'm a good sport and everything, but it's like, because I don't know where this is going. And so I don't like to not be in control.
Yeah. I remember one time I was in a show in Vegas and they were doing that. And there was like all these like ladies passing by, pulling up men. I'm like, oh, no, you're not. Like, you're not. Like, don't touch me because I am not like.
You're like, not that guy.
Nope. Go right ahead.
Go ahead. Look, they all want it.
Go to the next.
All of them right over there. There's a whole line. Just do it.
But yet, I would have not been embarrassed to be called by Janet Jackson up to.
Well, I mean, it's Janet Jackson.
Listeners, for those of you who don't know, so Janet Jackson, and not until very long ago,
Yeah.
Janet Jackson would always have in her show a moment where she would bring up a gentleman and she would do all types of things to him online. And I've said this quite sometimes. Those guys that she would bring up on stage, that guy can walk off that stage and say, I went second base with Janet Jackson.
At least.
For sure.
Yeah.
That in front of 100,000 people, right now. Right now.
Right. But it's Janet. It's Janet. That's different. That's different.
But no, taking me out to dance? Oh my God, no. Like, agárrense de las manos. Oye, where's Julio Zavala?
Why did I think of him the other day?
If you know who Julio Zavala is, you're probably past 40.
Y cuidado. Why did I think of Julio Zavala the other day?
Chévere, que chévere, que chévere, que chévere.
Let's find him and bring him on the show.
I mean,
Why not?
why not?
Yeah.
So Julio Zavala, listeners, for those of you who don't know, was this really, really famous comedian, impersonator. I must say imitation artist.
I mean, you're not wrong when you say imitation artist. I mean, he would imitate celebrities, but yeah, like an impersonator is
impersonator. And it's funny because my dad's calling and he's probably like, ¿Y por qué tú no coges el teléfono? Because he thinks we're recording on Fake Friday, but we're recording on
that's right.
Fake Friday.
Fake Friday.
So
Double fake.
So, yeah. Julio Zavala.
And talking about Julio Zavala. As one does on Double Fake Friday.
Double Fake Friday. I remember he went a few times on a show, the Charitín.
Oh, he was always on. He was always on all the shows. I don't know why. Like, you know what though? That's a thing. I feel like we don't have many like celebrity impersonators anymore.
In English or in Spanish?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Because you used to have like Julio Zavala used to have Rich Little. Okay, I'm blanking on others, so maybe there's only two. But I feel like that was a thing for a while there where it would have these people on.
Scare the shit out of me. It'll scare Tiny
Tim.
Yeah.
I get it. Él estaba espantoso.
Like Tiny Tim used to do a lot of late night TV.
Yeah.
And like, I'd be up and I was like 10 and the lights were off. I'm like, oh my God, that man with that little guitar. I mean, he could have been a wonderful person, humanitarian philanthropist, but he used to scare the shit out of me. Like,
yeah, he died at a gig.
At a gig.
He died. So actually it's kind of sad. So he had a performance booked, and when he showed up, they hadn't sold enough tickets, so they essentially canceled the performance. But he just stayed at the venue, just kind of hanging out with everybody, and he had a heart attack backstage. I mean, he didn't die at the place, but he had a heart attack, and like he died like on the way to the hospital.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Okay, well, I'm sure he was a wonderful human being. What is he famous for?
That song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
What song is that?
The song that Tiny Tim sang.
Is that some psychedelic, mamas and the papas stuff?
I don't even know, dude. I mean, I can't think of another
What do the
song.
mamas and the papas sing?
California Dreamin', Monday.
Oh, yeah.
There's another song of theirs that's it's a slow song. I can't think of it right now. Also, they gave us Wilson Phillips.
I was never into Wilson Phillips.
I like Wilson Phillips. They have nice harmonies.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of white women in the Midwest liked Wilson Phillips too. Wilson Phillips is like, especially back in the day when they were really popular, that's like what white women used to listen to when they were on their way to go to glamour shots.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, baby.
So while they were trying on the pamelas,
on the way that they needed
in
to
the car,
something inspirational, like I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna be
empowering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold on for just one more day.
Hold on for one more day. Yeah. They were driving up to the mall. In their,
in their cabriolet,
in their 1991 Buick LeSabre, and
okay, you made them a lot more higher up the echelon than I was.
And they were listening to Wilson Phillips, pumping themselves up, getting ready for this like glamour shoot on glamour shots.
We all make fun of glamour shots, and we made fun of it then as well. But glamour shots was the predecessor to basically selfies.
Yeah.
Think about it, because now everybody just does glamour shots, but they do it at home.
Right.
With filters.
Right.
And little fashion shoots and all that. So, we're all doing glamour shots nowadays.
I mean, granted, we did glamour shots in our yearbook pictures for senior portraits.
This is true.
Those senior portraits, they used to airbrush like an inch of your life. Like it was unrecognizable. Like
if you went missing, they'd never find you. Not using that picture.
That was. I think we talked about that recently.
We did. I don't know if it was that. That's the thing, is I don't know if we talked about it on air or just.
That was another thing. That was another thing that I was like, I'm not taking the picture with the leather jacket. It makes me very uncomfortable. I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
I think I'm pretty sure I took that one.
Of course, you took that one.
I was there. I took all the pictures.
I was like, I'm taking my picture with my jacket and my tie, and we're moving on. Like,
no, give me a fashion shoot.
No, claro que sí. Like, I'm sure you took someone with a next to a Roman column
and a Greek one too, if they had it. Fuck it. All the columns. All of them.
I mean, you probably took one in a hot tub and you didn't.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Your lost yearbook.
The lost photo shoot.
Do seniors still do that?
Do they still do the senior photos?
Yeah, like with Bryn Allen.
Well, I mean, they had the yearbook, so I'm assuming they still have.
Okay, so here's a question. So remember when we graduated high school? Since we graduated in the 90s, we had to turn in 90 sometimes a ring. Bless you. So do they just turn it 20 sometimes now?
Oh, if not, they have to do it 200.
Okay, so I could understand that in the year 2000, they did it 100 times.
Right.
Okay.
So they probably reset.
But how about in 2007? Was it just 7 times?
7 times.
Think
about the attention spans nowadays.
There's no fun in that. Did you do that, by the way?
I couldn't tell you right now, honestly.
I did. I still have the card. Do you still have your ring?
I have it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I still have it too.
I have it somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
I like my ring. It's silver.
And mine was gold.
Of course it was gold. I remember you getting your ring and me telling you, why are you getting a freaking gold ring?
Because I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
I know it was gold, but I don't remember where I put it. I know I still have it. I know I didn't get rid of it. I just don't know where
One of the reasons why I wanted silver was because at that time, especially, silver was really in.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going to wear this shit. Like, I'm going to wear it. I will keep it forever.
We wore it senior year.
And I will keep it forever. But I'm like, I don't wear rings. And like, I don't like that huge ring.
Yeah. And that's another thing. It was just big.
Yeah.
It was just a big old, like.
Do you remember how the sound
knuckles
of your senior ring when it would fall?
Yeah.
Boom.
It was just like, dung.
How was it?
Dung.
Listeners,
it was half of a Law and Order.
Did you have your senior ring? And if you had your senior ring, do you still wear it?
I hope not.
What?
I hope they're not still wearing it.
Like 30 years later, you still wear your senior ring? No. Why not?
That's sad.
Why?
Because that means you really peaked in high school.
I don't see it that way.
I do.
You do?
I do. I'd like to think that if you are 15 plus years removed from high school, you've graduated to other jewelry.
Maybe.
You know?
But maybe you want to reflect and think back.
Something a little thinner, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something a little more fashionable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little fashionable.
Just a little bit
than your graduation
than
ring.
your graduation ring.
I remember there was a short time I hung it from my like chain. I don't know. I was trying to be a bro or some shit like that. And
But see, that's the progression.
you know what I have that I've been wanting to wear again because I have like you remember that really really thick silver chain that I have.
Oh yeah,
with my name.
Yeah,
That's like it's kind of as fuck, but I love it.
I think I have my name somewhere too. Again, these are all things that I know I have somewhere. I just don't know where the hell it is.
I used to
it's
wear
like a treasure hunt.
Actually, I'm seeing myself wearing that when I was like 23, 24 with a Structure from Structure, the store.
Yes, not Express.
Sweater.
Ooh,
with
the sweater was ribbed.
back
wasn't
then
it?
I used to wear all my baseball caps backwards. Remember I used to wear my baseball caps only backwards?
Yep.
I think it was in my 30s that I started wearing them, forward.
Yeah, that's when Darian realized the sun.
Yes. Like
Protection.
never. I never wore them like normal. I always wore them backwards. I also think it was a 90s thing.
Yeah, it was very.
It was like a 90s, 2000s
Yeah,
thing.
it was a very our era thing.
Yeah,
yes,
our era,
yes,
like
yes.
90s, early 2000s, that guys wore it backwards. And yeah, my silver chain with my name.
chain.
That's still there somewhere.
Was that during the era that you were Miami Mike?
No, my AOL screen names were.
No. But like that Miami Mike persona.
Oh yeah, the Miami Mike persona.
Yeah.
My screen names, and I remember all my screen names. So there's the screen name that is my original email address that I still have till this day and use.
Neil?
dborges19@AOL.com.
Oh, okay.
Always, mind you, I was 14 when I got that email, but I put 19. dborges19@AOL.com. I still use it. It's still active. That will always be my email address. And so I use that email address for not important things.
Same.
Like verifications.
Same.
But I still do use it.
I
and
still
it's
use
active.
mine. IJL26.
And I love when people are like, AOL? What's AOL?
Owl.
And then there was Frank at FIU.
Frank at FIU.
Because that was my alter ego.
That's right.
And then there was Neo
1015, right?
1078 or 1020, which was, when I thought I was Neo Anderson from The
Yes.
Matrix. I mean, I thought I was Neo Anderson from The Matrix.
You did.
I mean, I really, really did.
You did.
I would go to elevator lobbies and cause havoc. Like,
You were just a black trench coat away.
yeah, I was.
It was just too damn hot in Miami.
Do you remember I even created a website
Yes, I
called
do.
worldofdarian.com?
And it was The Matrix.
It was all of The Matrix. I was obsessed with The Matrix, people.
Just a smidge.
Like obsessed.
Just
like
a little bit.
obsessed with that movie. The soundtrack to that movie is still badass.
It's phenomenal.
Still badass. And that movie, for being 25 years old,
That's not dated.
still holds up incredibly well. See how it's
Well, okay, most of the things in that movie is also practical effects.
yeah.
So that's why it holds up well.
Yeah. I know deja vu. No, I have deja vu.
I know Kung Fu.
I know kung fu. I would tell people, did you remember I would randomly tell people there is no spoon? And the majority of people are like, what?
What?
There's no spoon.
Like, we're having sandwiches.
I
don't know.
I mean, but people, come on, listeners. Like, The Matrix was like,
It's a phenomenal movie, which
Badass.
is why I'm upset that they made a fourth one.
you know
They
what?
did not need to make that fourth one. That one was not good.
If we're being really honest,
They didn't have to make 2 and 3 either.
no, they didn't.
Especially not 3.
Yeah. I liked 3 more than 2.
I mean,
3,
fine.
2, that scene in the second Matrix.
With the Colonel?
Yes, with that this guy made fun of.
Yeah. Oh my God, the architect, right?
Yes,
Or the engineer?
Will
Ferrell.
Ferrell made fun of. Like,
Yeah.
I am saying words, but they mean nothing. I mean, he was on track with that. Like,
Nothing, no lies detected.
because mira that I know that story well of the Matrix well. I know it in and out.
that part.
But like I remember seeing the second one and being like, what is going on here? Like, I mean, the some scenes were cool. Like the scenes of the Cadillac CTSs and the highway were cool.
I mean, it's a cool scene, but did we need the movie?
But I mean, that movie could have stayed just the first one.
I know.
I mean, this is something that we could totally have a conversation of with these people on Mount Geekmore.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that our friend Neri, who has the podcast Mount Geekmore, and even David that has the
with
Shiver
Shiver.
podcast. This is a conversation they would enjoy. But that movie, that's one of many movies that did not need a sequel
At all. And we could have that we could have needless sequel movies as an entire conversation as well.
You know what sequel I saw for the first time last week? Father of the Bride.
Part 2?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
Yeah.
I forget that has a sequel.
Yeah, I've never really seen the first one either.
No?
No,
Not the Steve Martin one.
the Steve Martin one.
Okay. You saw the Andy Garcia one.
I actually didn't.
You didn't?
And I haven't seen the Elizabeth Taylor. I haven't seen any of them.
Really?
No.
Mina, you know one that surprises me the most there is the Liz Taylor one. Just because I know you're
do.
a big fan of Liz Taylor.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen hers.
Huh.
Yeah. But I saw the sequel.
Right, because this is the same guy who, prefers Home Alone 2 to Home Alone.
Absolutely. You know what?
Defense
I
rest.
will die on that hill.
Defense rest.
I will die on that hill because Home Alone 1 does not have Tim Curry.
Right, but Home Alone 1, he's actually home alone.
Well, in Home Alone 2, he's at the plaza, which is sort of a home alone, and then he's at his aunt and uncle's house that live in Paris alone.
Yeah, no, it's not the same.
Tim Curry's in that movie. Tim Curry is awesome in that
Listen,
movie.
I'm never going to denigrate Tim Curry. I love Tim Curry. Tim Curry makes anything a little bit better. Anything that's okay gets at least a 0.5 increase by Tim Curry's presence alone. But no.
I know. I'm dying on that hill of Home Alone 2.
No. Pero Primos, I'm not the crazy one in this scenario. Okay? No.
Wait,
No.
there's not a Home Alone 3 with him, right? It's with somebody else.
Right. There's like a whole Home Alone franchise. But
Otro
it's,
chiquito malcriado.
yeah, but it's not with Kevin. No.
I love every year
There's one that's with Karen Duffy.
from MTV.
Yes. She plays one of the robbers trying to get into the
I
house.
love how every year, like the meme that goes on with the house.
yeah.
They're like, did we ever ask what Kevin's parents did for a living?
He was an import-export.
Because we just accepted that these people lived in a mansion and just,
Well, because you just accept white people have money.
especially in the Midwest.
Yeah.
They were in Chicago.
Right, they got money.
Yeah. Like este mismo in Father of the Bride, they live in this beautiful colonial home, and it's like we're not asking any questions.
No, that's just where they
we
live.
just see them coming from work in business suits.
Right, so they have to dress like they have the money.
Right.
Right.
Home Alone, though, I mean, we say this all the time in shits and giggles, but a Latin version of Home Alone would be hilarious.
It would be good.
First of all, it will never happen.
No. Well.
¿Tú crees que una mujer latina, a Latin mother,
That's true.
va a dejar que un chiquillo le diga a ellos cuántos niños hay en una guagua?
No.
Because that's how the confusion happened, right?
You know what? You're right. The movie's over in 10 minutes.
Right. You think that when they got to the airport, she didn't see him
Right.
until they were on the plane. Do you think that any Latin mom would have been like, "Oh, yeah,
I'll
he
take
went
your
through
word
security.
for it."
Yeah. Take your word from it."
No.
No.
You know what though? It's also we're
First of all,
we're also in a different world now. So we're post 9/11. So getting through security would be a whole other.
That is true.
Be very
That
different.
is true.
Yeah.
In the first one, they were going to Paris, right?
Yes.
She would have been holding the passport. El pasaporte del niño.
Right, exactly. And again, on top of that, like nowadays, forget it. With security nowadays,
De todas formas,
you're finding
the
out.
Latin parent would go through the house, do a final sweep, para estar seguro que nadie dejó la luz encendida porque eso gasta mucha corriente.
There you go. Y que desenchuflaron
todo.
You're
Okay,
right. You know what? You're right, guys. We wrote a 10-minute movie. Is basically what we've just done. We've written a movie that can never exist.
It wouldn't happen.
It would never exist.
I mean, we would have to come up with another premise.
Another angle.
Yeah, another angle. But
Yeah.
that one's not cutting it.
What would be like well, I think it would have to be a period piece, number one, because if you do it nowadays, they're not getting through the airport. So it has to be like set in the 70s.
No. Se fue en el banco. I don't know.
Something like it would have to be something like that where they're like running and then somebody causes the kid to like not by the parent not being able to. It's that, and then they can't get to them for a certain amount of days because they're stranded on an island.
Right,
something
but then
like
this
that.
is a drama, not a comedy. El niño.
Se me queda la
No, ella se tira del banco.
Me corto las venas antes que se quede
There'll
el
be a
hijo.
whole scene in Overboard. Like, se tira del banco.
Yeah, so this version is 15 minutes long. Okay. Yes. Latinos on the water. It's just never going to happen.
I was just thinking of Benjamin. Benjamin wasn't black. Benjamin was from New Jersey.
You mean? That's right.
I went to my high school prom with a Yankee.
And they made a movie about that deadbeat Gandhi instead.
That is my favorite scene of the Golden Girls. My favorite, like by far.
No, my favorite is the one with the
eggs.
The eggs.
Yeah.
The egg. Yeah. To this day, I pee myself laughing just watching her do it.
They should have online, maybe they have it, like a St. Olaf compilation.
Oh, I'm sure somebody's made it.
Or like a compilation of Hans and Franz.
I'm absolutely sure that they have all the St. Olafs somewhere. It's got, okay, in this day and age, somebody's got to have done it. I guarantee you. I'll look it up later when we're done and I'll send it to you. I'm sure it exists. But really quick, before we get into the last sodas. So speaking of comedy, that's a good segue. So I am actually going to be participating in something really cool. It actually opens this week at the Gables Stage. It's called Laughs in Spanish. And it's a play. It's an interesting play. It's actually only, I think, the third time it's been produced, and it's the first time it's been done in Miami. And it takes place in a Wynwood Art Gallery. And so it's like a little like a comedy of errors, and it's it's fun. It's about a mother and a daughter, and Latina, and all that. But there's a DJ character that I've been invited to partake in and play that character on the June 22nd showing. So I know it's still a ways off, but if you want to go see me, wait until June 22nd. But I think you should go. It's playing every weekend, starting this weekend, May 17th, I believe, or May 16th, at the Gables Stage Theater. And it's the director. I can't remember the name of the playwright right now, but it's directed by Vicky Collado, who was one of the people behind Amparo. And other guest DJs include Ruben Rabasa, a comedian Luis Hernandez, Martha of Miami, and of course the one and only Lucy Lopez, and myself. So it's fun. It should be interesting. I found myself really laughing. I cried at the end of it, the first read through. I can't wait to do it because it's like I get to live out all my theater kid fantasies, in that I get to be on stage in a show and there's even choreography. So, and let me tell you something, it's some intense choreography. Like I was sweating afterwards. So,
do you have a lot of choreography in your head right now?
I do. And that's, hopefully there won't be a conservatorship afterwards.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's just going to be bad for
business across the board.
Yeah, no, and for us to for me to do the podcast.
That's what I'm saying, for business across the board. Yeah.
So anyway, that's great. Well, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Actually, I believe I have a extra ticket, so if you want to come and be my plus one and watch me.
I absolutely. Para que te rompas una pata.
Oh, las dos. I'm going to break legs.
Oh.
Hear that? That's the sound of time just passing by while you wait and wait to see your doctor for a medical appointment. Now hear that? That's the sound of you walking into Dr. Goodprice and being seen by a professional for that same medical consultation in about 30 minutes. And that's not even the best part. At Dr. Goodprice, a medical consultation is only $35. No insurance, no weird copays that never cover everything, just $35 and minimal wait time. If only keeping a cholesterol in check was this easy, huh? Medical care is important, but it shouldn't be at the cost of your time and money. Dr. Goodprice believes everyone should be able to get affordable medical care on your time. Visit drgoodprice.com today for more info and services.
Anyway, are we ready for the last soda?
Yeah, let's last soda this.
So, I'm going to give my last soda this week to young Sheldon.
Oh, it's ending.
Did you see the episode of his dad?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my gosh. So, it's funny because I loved Big Bang Theory, but I wouldn't consider myself like this person. I was like glued to the TV watching Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory to me is one of these shows that if it's on, I'll watch. Right? And I do enjoy it. And the same with Young Sheldon. Like Young Sheldon, I can't say that I've sat down and watched every single episode, but something that I really enjoyed about that show from the very beginning is that show has a lot of heart.
Oh, 100%.
And, it's funny because they could have gone in a completely different route with that show.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been like this like nerdy kid and, him.
Total stereotype.
Yeah. And it could have gone completely different. And I love how they've written that show, how they've been able to. It's still very much about him, but the other characters are so important, and they're such a big part of the Sheldon Cooper universe.
Yeah.
Again, that show is just great. It has a lot of heart. It makes you feel good. And then, the thing with his dad, you knew it was coming.
Right. It wasn't a surprise. Yeah.
You knew that it was coming because it's all over. But then when it finally did,
it made you care about this guy.
It's like, oh my God. I mean, because the thing is that he's such a, it's not even that he's a good father, which he is, but it's just to see it, like when it actually happened and their reactions. It was just great. It was great. And the show's ending, and I was watching something on CBS Sunday Morning this week on the show's producers, and they were saying that they could have put the show is still top in the ratings, and they're like, we could have continued the show, but then they were going to be starting to have overlapping storylines with the Sheldon Cooper of Big Bang.
That's right.
So, because he's already near high school, finishing high school.
Well, no, he's in college already.
Yeah, well, right. So, the Caltech, the Caltech storylines. That's what I meant. Overlapping. So they were like, because we want to be true to the Sheldon Cooper universe and that, we're ending it. And I'm like, wow, so many times we complain of sitcoms that there's no continuity and
overstay their welcome.
Right. And here they went on top and are true to this show and to the original show. And now there's going to be a spinoff.
There is going to be another spinoff.
Who knew that would, that's one of those things that because the character of Sheldon Cooper on paper does not sound like a character you would care for.
At all.
And I don't know if in part it's the Jim Parsons of it all and the writing that, as sort of annoying as Sheldon Cooper can be and as disconnected, the parts where he was warm and loving made up for it.
I think a big part of it is obviously Jim Parsons, but I've always said, to me, the heart of Big Bang was actually whenever you had Sheldon and Penny together. Because she almost was able to keep him in check while also being a maternal type of figure, and that allowed us to see that he was a person and not just this nerd, stereotype, whatever. There's the episode where they did it right after there was some study that came out. I think you and I even talked about it on the show, that there was a study that came out that said, if you want to know if you truly love someone, it's you're supposed to ask these set of questions. It was some university study, these set of questions of each other, and then after you're done, you just stare at each other for X amount of time, and it's supposed to, you're supposed to kind of know if you're in love or whatever. And that episode ended with them doing that experiment. They did an experiment just by themselves. And at the end of it, you saw him say, Penny, I love you. I do love you. And she's like, I love you too. And there was a warmth there that in lesser hands would have just seemed sitcom trope. But you felt it with them.
That's why I think that, that show is both shows. It's a show of it was lightning in a bottle. It was magic, whether it was the writing and the cast. Because again, Big Bang Theory is a show that on paper could have been so different. Oh, yeah. From the character of Penny being the cool one and with the nerds. Right. And it could have been so stereotypical, so, cliche. Yeah. And at times it was, but then there was substance to that. Yeah. And the characters were not one-dimensional. I think that's what it made
That's the key.
That it wasn't one-dimensional at all. Yeah. Even if outwardly it looked like they were.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Young Sheldon. So my last soda, I'm gonna keep it kind of short and sweet. It's a song that I've been loving. It's a fun little throwaway pop confection.
I know what song it is.
What?
Vanessa Williams.
Vanessa Williams' Legs.
I've heard 2 seconds of that song, and the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, this is the type of song you would love.
It's a total pop confection, but it's sung by a woman in her 60s. You know what? We're not allowed to, you're not allowed to be a pop star anymore after the age of 32, right? And she's like, fuck it, I've been through worse.
She's also Vanessa Williams.
Right, but that's what I mean. She's like, you know what? I've been through worse. And it's just, look, is it a a song that's going to be like Grammy nominated. No, it's not. It's just
What if you say something? The legs are last.
the legs
to
are the last to go, and until then, I'm just going to keep on dancing. I mean, you know what? Yes, I concur, Vanessa. I too will keep dancing until I'm well into my 60s, even though I'm not a statuesque black woman.
Former Miss America.
Former Miss America, you know. So I just it's a fun song. We're about to go into summer. I think summer is the perfect time for just a fun little, like I said, pop confection like that. And the fact that it's from somebody who's been able to, you know, overcome what could have effectively just killed any chance of a career.
That she can't believe that she is where she's at.
Right.
Or
there are days that she wakes up and she's like, I'm about to be Miranda Priestley on the West End.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's nothing against her talent or anything,
No.
but you know, things were looking very bad for her.
It could have gone very differently.
Yeah.
You want to talk about something that could have gone very differently.
You know what's funny? I think I was talking to you about this the other day. You know what's totally suck? That the Miss America that was the first runner-up to her, because she eventually became Miss America when Vanessa Williams had to step down, and nobody knows who that is.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember most Miss Americas, much less that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, the only Miss America I know is her. Is there another Miss America? I don't know. That's done great things that we don't know.
Okay, I don't know about great things, but there is another Miss America who went on to become like a journalist. And I don't remember her name right now, but there was, again, it's maybe like 3 Miss Americas.
Deborah Norville?
No, not Deborah Norville. Oh my gosh, she was played by Nicole Kidman in in Bombshell.
Megyn Kelly?
No, Megyn Kelly was played by Megyn Kelly. Because that wasn't Charlize Theron. I don't care what anybody says. Her, whatever. I think there's like maybe 3 famous Miss Americas.
You know what I think? Bombshell. You know what I think of? When I hear the word bombshell, I think of the skit that Ellen did with Sofia Vergara about a German
with makeup or whatever.
Yeah, when Ellen used to do CoverGirl.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh, have you ever wondered what CoverGirl commercials look like in Germany?" And then it was like Bombshell.
Like, Das Bombshell.
Das Bombshell. I'm going to go look that up now.
As you all should.
Anyway, everybody, we hope you listen, laughed, and learn. And as always, remember to grab your croqueta, your pastelito, and your cafecito. Pero let me tell you, maybe going west next week.
Yes,
we'll see what that's all about. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cuídense, mi gente.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.